Hi everyone and welcome to this latest installment of What Happens If, this series where we are doing everything you're not supposed to do in the sim and where we're doing things that are unrealistic and that are not really related to serious flight simming, but these are things that you will sometimes wonder what happens if I did that, this, and so we're trying to do all of that sort of stuff, and I'm just trying to get myself seated here first of all, so that's much better. So I'm sat here on our test runway 06 on Ibiza, offline in the SIBA mod in virtual reality on X-Plane 11 using the Oculus Rift S. And in today's video we're going to try something that I personally have never tried in the sim, and that is see if you can fly inverted in the Boeing 737. We have started up the sim basically just with engines running on the runway to save some time on setup and stuff like that. We're not going to bother with putting in any routing or anything like that. We're going to be manual flying the whole thing, and we're going to try and simply flip the aircraft on its head and fly inverted as stable as we can for, let's say, 1 minute or so, and then turn her back around. And if we can do that, then I would say it is quite possible to fly inverted. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard, and it's going to require some out of the box unnatural movement, so you have to maybe think inverted as well, but I do think it's doable. So we just have to be careful. We do have failures enabled, and also failures if you exceed the G-forces or overspeed the aircraft, so you have to be careful not to destroy the aircraft in the process and expose it to too much G-forces, so we'll have to be careful. I think we'll go at somewhere above 5,000 feet. I've set in 15,000, and we'll see what happens from there, right? So I think we'll just get started, just fire her up, and let's something like this. That should do us nicely.
Eight 8,000 feet remaining.
There we go.
7,000
Arras are really on her toes today.
6,000 remaining.
Let's rotate here.
5,000 remaining.
Positive rate.
And let's just do it straight ahead. I would preferably actually like to have let's get a map up here. I would preferably like to have some land below me, as to make some easier bit easier way to have something to reference by. Let's go flaps up. See if we can trim her out. There's Ibiza passing by below us. Coming up on 5,000. So before we do anything else, I would like to at least start the timer so I have full focus on controlling the aircraft whilst flying inverted. So let's just now what we need to keep in mind is that we will have some quite different forces. We have the underslung engines, and we have a lot of weight in the lower parts of the aircraft that is going to be then sitting on top of the aircraft, and I don't know how the wings will react. They are designed to generate lift the other way around, so let's say this here is nicely. So would like a bit lower speed, just to protect us a little bit. Let's drop it back like so. Here we are. And if I could turn her around here over land, and then we'll try to flip her over. Let's do turn. We are a little bit too fast, so what I'm going to do is get the thrust back even more and then climb a little. And here she comes. Turning back over Ibiza. There we go, and we can put her down now. There we go. 9,000.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Yeah. Just a bit impatient, so I think we will clear her out here, and that should do us nicely. So I'm going to turn her around as careful as I can. So I'm going to start now. We are 2 minutes. Actually, I'm going to reset it. Start, and then we will.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Using the rudder to keep it upright. So here we go. Almost. That's the math. No. So that definitely didn't really like doing that. So what we can do is, yeah, that definitely broke the aircraft apart.
On runway
Let me just
06.
I will just pop the flaps, and I'm not going to bother with anything else. I just want to get going. Let's wait for the flaps. There we go. So it didn't really like that. So what happens if we
8,000 feet remaining.
what happens is we invert it while in a climb,
7,000
like so.
remaining. 6,000 remaining.
And we can rotate her here.
5,000 remaining.
Positive rate.
So I think as soon as I have the flaps up, I'll keep a positive rate of climb, and then I will invert the aircraft, and we'll see what happens then.
1,000.
Let's keep it at 15. We'll go down to 10. Yeah. Oh, the flaps are up. Okay, so I'm going to use the rudder and basically cross the controls ever so slightly.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank rate.
Oh, we're almost inverted.
Pull up. Pull up.
We are inverted, but
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull
yeah, the
up.
engines are going to.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perchak, 6
Yeah, so we did manage to go inverted. Let's just try it one last time. We did manage to go inverted, but of course the weight and thrust and everything of the engines.
On runway 06.
Of course, force the aircraft down. Now that same thing would happen. That same thing would happen at altitude, but at least we would have some more time to maybe try and stabilize it. So what we'll do is something like this. What we'll do is try to get a little bit higher before we do the inversion. So I wouldn't. Yeah, we got inverted.
8,000 feet remaining.
We managed to get inverted, but we did not manage to. I wouldn't say we
7,000
flew inverted.
remaining.
We're not stable at all. So.
6,000 remaining.
And we'll rotate her here.
5,000 remaining.
Positive rate. $400. $1,000.
I don't have any references, so I'm just doing a rough guess with the flaps and thrust. So no real science behind that. So this here just around 10%. Seem to be a pretty good angle to do the inversion at, and then put her down instead of doing the inversion in level flight. But we do definitely need to get some more altitude, at least 5,000 I think. So this, I think this will be our last attempt, right? So let's try it at 5,000. Let's just pull back a little on the thrust, and let's just do the cross controls here. So right rudder, left control. Push the control down. We need not go too fast to exceed the G-forces. And I can let go of the rudder now. No. Definitely didn't like that. Yeah, so I think that concludes this here attempt to fly inverted in the 737. Can you do it with the current settings I have with the G-forces and everything enabled? I don't know. You see, I have it enabled. Maybe somebody can do it, but I think it will take a great deal of time of finding just the right altitude and careful appliance of the controls to do it. So can you do it? It's still an open question. I think maybe, yeah, if you really practice, but to be honest, I'm not going to spend much time practicing doing that or finding the correct settings. Thrust and altitude wise. I do think you need to do it while in a slight climb. Be careful not to have too much speed, just enough to maintain the climb, but not so much that you have too high G-forces on the airframe, and then have to turn it over slightly, applying a rudder and opposite yoke, and then trying to level her off once you get her up, and then it will be a battle keeping it from wanting to pitch down with the engine. So you need to have basically decrease or even kill the thrust, and then you will maybe do a shallow descent. I don't know. But I was not able to really fly her in inverted. We got very close, but not close enough in my opinion. But it's nice to know that that flying in inverted is not something that you just do. That's something best left for the movies. So with those words, I hope you enjoyed this latest installment of What If. Do leave a like and subscribe, and even share if you like. That will really help the channel, and I hope to see you in our next video. Bye bye.